Hey Army, have you ever seen a piece of art so personal, so honest, that it felt like a peek into someone's heart, without a single word spoken? This was the moment that shook the K-pop world. It wasn't from a fancy stage, it wasn't from an award show, and it wasn't even from an officially released music video. Instead, it all started with blurry CCTV footage that was accidentally leaked. It was only 18 seconds long, but in those seconds, Jungkook, a global idol known for his flawless every move, showed his most raw and honest side. There was no crowd, no stylist, no spotlight, just an empty room and one man standing alone. That was it. But that's exactly where everything felt so powerful. It all started when the door to HYB's private practice room, which was supposed to be locked at all times, opened in the middle of the night. There was no official schedule, no studio log, and all that was captured was the silhouette of a man, wearing a dark hoodie, walking slowly into the room as if entering a sacred altar. And perhaps that's exactly what that room was for Jungkook. A sacred place where the weight of his feelings was poured into movement, where dreams and wounds silently merged. His body began to move, not to entertain, but to express. There was no loud music. The lights were dimmed, but every step, every turn, every breath felt alive. The movements weren't smooth as usual. They weren't perfect, but that's precisely why they felt more human, deeper, more real. What was visible wasn't choreography designed for fans. This wasn't a rehearsal for the next performance. This was dance as therapy, an escape, or perhaps a confession. The movements seemed like an outpouring of the heart. There was one moment that made everyone in the audience stop breathing, when Jungkook placed his hand on his chest, closing his eyes, as if trying to remember something painful. It wasn't just choreography. It was body language that spoke louder than 1,000 words. And to make matters even more mysterious, on the back of his hoodie, it was written cryptically, "The real begins when no one's watching." And above it, an unfamiliar symbol, a half-sun obscured by shadow. The sentence struck the fans hard. Was this the title of a secret project? A hint for a documentary? Or is it a hidden message from an artist quietly building a new era? Whatever the answer, this video isn't for public consumption. But that's precisely why it feels so meaningful. At a time when the world is racing to be perfect, Jungkook shows his most vulnerable, most honest moment, and it's more touching than any concert. When the leaked footage hit the internet, the global reaction exploded. From Twitter to TikTok, from Korea to Brazil, millions of fans theorized. Frame after frame was dissected. Movements were analyzed. Some even called it a form of contemporary art, a visual manifesto of the soul of an artist searching for direction. And what's interesting, HYB remained silent. No clarification, no announcement, complete silence. Some fans believe this was an internal error. Others believe it was a clever strategy. But perhaps this was the only right way, to let the moment remain pure, untainted by marketing strategies or official narratives. We know Jungkook as the golden magne, the all-around idol who never fails to give his best. But behind that title, there's someone who can also be tired and who wants to speak, but without words. That video, brief, blurry, unintentional, instead shows that he's not just an idol. He's an artist going through a significant transition, and we were witnessing it firsthand. Is this the beginning of a new era for Jungkook? Or just a night where he needed some breathing space? We may never know for sure, but we do know something has changed. The energy radiating from that movement is undeniable. There's a deliberate rupture. There's emotion being let out. There's a universe he's building in secret when no one is watching. And somehow, we're all witnesses. Maybe this isn't about a secret project or a new era. Maybe this is an artist's deepest tribute to his fans, who've been with him since the beginning. An unwritten letter. A dance that says, "You've seen me laugh, cry, stand on top of the world. But this is me when all the lights are out. When I have nothing to prove. When I'm just dancing for myself. And that's enough." So, ARMY, do you feel it too? What happened after the video went viral? A few days after the footage hit the internet, something even more shocking emerged. A former trainee who shared his time at HYB posted a cryptic statement on his personal account, writing, "He never danced for the camera. He danced to heal." If the video leaked, it wasn't a mistake, it was part of the message. Message? For whom? Fans? The world? Or himself? And what makes it all the more mysterious is the emergence of other footage slowly circulating. But this time it wasn't from CCTV. Some fans noticed that on a large LED advertisement in the Gangnam district, there was a strange frame that only appeared for a few seconds. Too fast for the naked eye, but enough for those with an eye for detail. A dancing silhouette, a half-sun symbol, and a slightly altered phrase. The real begins when the soul breaks free. The ARMY was divided. Some believed this was a hidden campaign for Jungkook's solo dance film project. Others believed it was Jungkook's silent protest against industry pressures. But amidst all the speculation, one thing remained clear. He was saying something in his own way, and it didn't stop there. On July 24th, just a day after the viral moment peaked, an anonymous SoundCloud account that a 2-minute, 44-second instrumental track believed to belong to Jungkook was uploaded. No title, no description, just the sound of a soft piano, punctuated by faint, hair-raising sighs. ARMYs moved quickly. They combined the instrumental with snippets of movement from a leaked CCTV video. The result? An audiovisual masterpiece that felt like puzzle pieces finally coming together. Every note seemed to absorb every movement. It was as if Jungkook's voice and body were complementing each other in silence. And amidst the growing silence, one of Korea's largest fan accounts posted the boldest theory yet. What you're seeing is the beginning of the shadow era. An era where Jungkook no longer chases the spotlight, but instead creates light from within the darkness. The phrase spread quickly. Shadow era became trending on various platforms. Fans began creating artwork, fan projects, and even redesigning album concepts based on this theme. Some theorized that there would be a secret visual album. Others believed that Jungkook was planning an independent project outside of HYB's usual structure. So, what was HYB's reaction? Still nothing. Nothing. No confirmation. No cancellation. No explicit endorsement. Silence. And as mentioned earlier in the opening narrative, perhaps that's precisely where the power lies. Because not all art needs to be explained. Not all expression needs permission. Sometimes, the most powerful things come from the quietest places. But one small event that many might have missed actually opened up new possibilities. On the morning of July 25th, Jungkook posted a short story on his personal account, a silhouetted photo of himself facing a window, with a simple caption, "I'm not done." 3 words. But for millions of fans, it was like a bang. He wasn't done. He was still walking, still dancing, still building something. And as if indirect confirmation, below the post appeared a comment from Kim Taehyung, BTS's V. He wrote just one emoji. These 2 things alone were enough to send the entire fandom into a frenzy. Did Taehyung know something? Were they working together? Would this develop into a collaboration between the 2 most expressive members of BTS? And interestingly, many industry observers noted that this move by Jungkook was extremely rare for any idol. Because usually, projects are designed with press releases, official teasers, trailers, countdowns, and merchandise sales. But this time, just a dance, a hoodie, and silence. And precisely because of that, everything feels more alive. Because in a noisy world, where everyone is competing to be heard, Jungkook chooses to be heard through a silence. Through a body moving in the dark. Through a breath that presses into every beat of the music. Through a silent message. And if you ask, what will happen next? The answer may no longer be about what will be released, but who will emerge from these shadows. Because what we saw that day wasn't just a moment, it was a shift. A change of direction. Jungkook wasn't preparing to perform. He was preparing to evolve. And top K-pop will be here, following every trace, reading every movement, and sharing every layer of the story of a man who dances not for the world, but for himself, and ultimately, for all of us. So stay with us, because if this is the beginning, the end will definitely change everything.